So before I go on, I want to introduce the two newest chancellors who have joined us in July. Both are here today. Bonnie Irwin, if you want to just stand up and wave. Bonnie is the new chancellor at UH-Hilo. Pretty interesting day to start as chancellor of UH-Hilo on July 1st. And Carlos Penaloza joined on July 2nd. You can ask him the story if you would like afterward. And Carlos is the new chancellor at Willard Community College. Welcome to you both. I want to just share a little bit of information about the unusual notice that was posted regarding the rules. The procedure for administrative rules provides that an agency may make its decision at a public hearing or announce the date when it intends to make that decision. And when we were going through the public hearing process, because this meeting was the immediate meeting following the closure of the public hearings, we had announced that this was the day when we would be doing the decision-making on the rules. In reviewing the input we have received, we do not believe we were ready to provide you with a recommendation today on those rules, and we do want to work with the regents in looking at the testimony in that recommendation. So the purpose of rescheduling is simply to provide another month, and that notice was required in order to comply with the statutes around administrative rulemaking and make it clear that we were not going to take up the rulemaking today, but rather will do so at the next regular meeting. A couple of highlights in general. First, with research, as foreshadowed toward the end of last year, we had a really excellent year in extramural funding. We went over $426 million, our highest number since we were enjoying the stimulus bump, which is great, and it's a 9% increase, and even better, every one of our major units had an increase: Hilo, West Oahu, Community Colleges System, and UH-Manoa. Congratulations to UH-Maui College, which was just designated as a Center of Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense Education. We had identified cybersecurity as one of our strategic areas of opportunity, particularly in education, but also research. UH-Maui College now joins UH-West Oahu as a 4-year Center of Academic Excellence. Honolulu Community College and Leeward are both 2-year centers of excellence, and UH-Manoa is a center of excellence in research in cybersecurity. And all of that has taken place on the watch of many of you here in this room. One of the grants that I was most happy to see this year was a $2.5 million grant from the National Science Foundation to UH-West Oahu. Congratulations, Chancellor Benham and team. This is a grant to increase success for Native Hawaiian students in STEM, and it complements many other activities in grants and some new programs which you have approved last year to really create the first STEM programs at UH-West Oahu were really just approved last year. We also have a great $638,000 grant to help bring veterans into STEM, so it really helps us achieve some of our objectives. And this particular program will also extend with pathways into high schools in the region to help give them opportunities as well. And I want to comment that one of the PIs on that is one of our new young faculty who we believe is the first Native Hawaiian to earn a PhD in applied mathematics, came home from the mainland and is now teaching at UH-West Oahu. We also acknowledge the assistance on this one. This is a pretty competitive NSF grant, and we do have consultants on hand who help our campuses win these things. It's part of the strategy out of Vice President Sirmos' office to help campuses like UH-West Oahu, UH-Hilo, and the community colleges be more competitive for some of these types of grants from agencies like NSF. The last area I want to mention of strategic investment is, as I mentioned, I met with the leadership of our Data Science Institute. So you've had presentations from the Institute of Sustainability and Resilience. You've also heard from Margaret McFall-Nye about the changes in biology as we shift to thinking about the microbiome and a completely new approach to teaching and research in biology. The third of these so-called virtual institutes that we started was around data science. And this one was a little bit of the opposite of the other two. We identified data science as an area of strategic weakness, meaning we didn't have much going on, but we knew it was critical to our success, both in education and workforce development, but also in supporting our research in virtually every sector of area of research that we do. So the Data Science Institute is chaired by Jason Lee of ICS and Gwen Jacobs of ITS, and it's been in existence for just over a year. They just won $1 million major research instrumentation grant to acquire supercomputing technology. They were part of a successful $1 million small business innovation research grant with a local engineering firm and are pursuing another one. They won a $4 million grant with UT Austin to work on science gateways to help scientists use technologies. And they're also part of a new project with Chaminade around data science education. So it's amazing when you hire just a couple of good people and turn them loose with a little bit of resources, what they can do. The next couple of proposals are a data science core program for system-wide data science education across UH. They're working with Outreach College on a series of non-credit data science courses, one-day courses for the community that will start this fall. And they are working on a pretty innovative approach to curriculum development, doing one-unit chunks, I'll call them, each of which can be used to create courses, to supplement courses, and it will be the building blocks of new curricula, including certificate programs, minors, and degrees. These will all use big data sets, if you want to think of big data, which have been curated in strategic areas so that our students can actually get hands-on experience using big data as part of their education as they move on into the workforce and into research on very hard problems. Finally, let me update you on a couple of land activities. Last month, there was quite a bit of information in the media about the possible relocation of the Hawaii Volcano Observatory, which can no longer continue in Volcanoes National Park. Their headquarters was basically destroyed through the last lava flow. They have been temporarily located in Hilo. They've also spent time in buildings at UH Hilo, and there was talk of relocating them to Oahu, to Fort Island. I met with the director of USGS, who also met with our congressional delegation, also spent time in Hilo. It looks very likely at this time that they would relocate to a location in UH Hilo, the Science and Technology Park, not on campus. As you all know, I think we have extremely ample land resources, and it's a great opportunity to keep jobs on the island and to create really engaging synergies with both educational opportunity for our UH Hilo and Hawaii Community College students, but also research opportunities with our faculty. We have been working for some time on our process to identify a public-private partner for the National Marine Fisheries, or NOAA Building, next to the East-West Center across the street from our dorms. That did go out as an RFP. The selection committee has reviewed the proposals that we received. They have finalized a selection. We received high-quality proposals. We have not yet notified the developers, so I won't be announcing that today, but we will announce the name, and at that point we then go into an exclusive negotiation period with the selected developer, and through that process we hope to identify a contract. And if all goes according to plan, the final bed and unit count and floor plan would be finalized by the first quarter next year, and we would like to be in occupancy by fall 2023. And we'll be happy to be briefing the P&F committee or whatever emerges into next year on the details of that project. And lastly, Vice President Young, I believe, is not here. He's at the National Nakubo. Oh, he is here. Welcome back. Calbert. Congratulations to Calbert, who did a fantastic job on the radio explaining a bill on which we recommended veto, but it was not veto. That was the film tax credit bill, which extended and increased the film tax credit cap. Unfortunately, from our perspective, it included an extremely onerous provision that required us to enter into land transfer relationships, the details of which I won't go into right now, to transfer land ownership to the High Technology Development Corporation so that it can work with the Creative Industries Group within DBED to develop a film studio at UH West Oahu. We are vehemently opposed to such a land transfer. We have been extremely supportive of the project. Fortunately, the bill does not actually require us to do anything at all before the next legislative session, and the governor has had pledged his support to work with us to try and get those onerous provisions of the legislation addressed. So finally, let me do the most favorite thing we get to do, which is honor some of our amazing employees. So maybe first, Willard Wilson. So the Board of Regents awards the Willard Wilson Award for Distinguished Service. It is named in honor of a longtime UH administrator and secretary to the Board of Regents, Willard Wilson, who set a standard for exemplary service to the university during his 40-year career. And this year's awardee is ITS telecom analyst Ralph Yoshioka, one of my very own. Ralph is a proud UH Manoa alum who has worked at UH for 27 years. He's known as the voice of Manoa because he's recorded so many things. His name is synonymous with telecom. Anybody who's ever called in a problem with their phone has met Ralph. He is described as selfless, kind, humble, and dedicated to his work. He attends to both large and small issues, helping those who are less technologically gifted in a calm, patient, and efficient manner. His best characteristic is his ability to treat all customers and their problems with utmost professionalism. One person says, "I can never tell if Ralph is busy or stressed because he always makes me feel like my problem is number one." Another says, "He always makes me feel like I'm the only important person that he serves." He is also a longtime volunteer shuttle driver for Student Housing's Manoa Move-In, gives up his Statehood Day holiday to ensure that our new students are warmly welcomed onto campus. One of his colleagues said, "I have no doubt that Ralph will continue to offer amazing and unstinting service to UH because that's just what Ralph does every day." Thank you, Ralph, for your service to the university and the state. President's Award for Excellence in Buildings and Ground Maintenance is given to an individual who has exhibited sustained superior performance in a maintenance, landscaping, custodial, or trucking position. This year's recipient is Ms. Xiao Cheng. Xiao serves as she's a working janitor in the Biomed Seymour buildings here at the Manoa campus. And although she's only been at Biomed for a short time, she has already made a lasting impression among the faculty and staff there, and they're here to thank her today also. Two things are clear. She takes tremendous pride in taking care of her building. She is always smiling and laughing. She is an effective leader who works hard alongside her team and inspires them to work just as hard as she does. One faculty member says, "In reality, we seldom need to tell her about facilities issues because she always takes care of things before they become problems." Another says, "She is always working, always moving, doing one thing or another, putting the rest of us to shame. She has cleaned things I never thought cleanable." Congratulations and thank you, Xiao, for your dedication to the Manoa campus and the University of Hawaii.